Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we're going to make our first full review of an aircraft. I'm going to make this one. If you guys like it, click the subscribe button and tell me on the comments, and I'll make more aircraft. Today we're going to take a look at the late F-104s. So the G, the J, and the S a little bit. I'm just going to talk about it, a little bit of its history, and then the avionics, weapons that it has in War Thunder, the performance that it has, the pros and cons, and some battles. So yeah, basically the F-104G was made. It's the most produced variant of the F-104. It was designed as a multi-role fighter bomber. So the idea was kind of to have a multi-role aircraft. I know it's kind of weird because it's an interceptor, and you know that's one of the reasons that the Luftwaffe had so many accidents with it and stuff. It's just because they use these aircraft as ground weapons, which is kind of weird, but anyway, it's what they did. So yeah, it's the most produced one. They produced it a little bit more than 1,100 aircraft uh, of the G, some 200 of the J, and 245 of the S. They are basically the same aircraft, the G, the J, and the S. They are just a little bit different depending on what the country needs. So the J was the variant that Lockheed started producing to export, to really export. So Lockheed actually produced 140 of them, but they were produced outside of the US. Canadair produced them, Fiat, so Canadair in Canada, of course, Fiat in Italy. Fokker produced a lot of them. Uh, I mean, together with the reconnaissance variant, they produced more than 300 of them, which is probably the most produced F-104G, which is kind of weird that Fokker of all companies actually made the most F-104s. Actually, they made the most F-104s, period, besides Lockheed. So, which is kind of weird. I mean, Canadair produced a lot, but the CF-104 actually was produced a lot before the F-104G. So yeah, so Fokker, Messerschmitt, and MBB, which is kind of a sister company to Messerschmitt in Germany. Mitsubishi produced 200 of them of the F-104J, and SABCA, I don't know what's called exactly, but uh, it's a Belgian aerospace company. So yeah, so it was produced even in Belgium, even in Holland with Fokker. So yeah, a lot of countries produced this aircraft. So yeah, the G was just a better version of the C. So it had a better engine, a better radar, a better fuselage, more strong one, a better empennage, a longer one. It has better, I mean, this is not in game, but it has a better anti-skid, which is basically ABS. It has better brakes, better tires, better. I mean, it's just a improved F-104C. But the US didn't want to use it, and basically was used to export for everybody. A lot of people use this aircraft. Yeah, pretty good aircraft in general for the time. So it started being produced in the 60s, early 60s, you know, late 50s, which they entered in service in West Germany was in July 1960, for example, which is one of the first countries that use it. But a lot of countries used. As you see on the screen, we see Belgium used, Canada, the Republic of China, capitalist China, Denmark, Germany, Greece, Italy, Japan, Jordan, the Netherlands, Norway, Pakistan, Spain, Turkey, and of course the United States. But the United States didn't use the G variant. Okay, so a lot of countries used. It was a main fighter for many air forces, including Italy or Germany, they were the main fighters of the Air Force. Japan had, like I said before, the specific variant made by Mitsubishi, with the J variant, which, I mean, it's basically a specialized interceptor version. It's the same aircraft, but it doesn't have the capability to strike at the ground. Okay, so it has a little bit more of a air superiority role in the Japanese Air Force. Okay, and the S variant made by Fiat, it's basically the last variant of the F-104. We have a kind of an early variant of the S, because they had the SAS and the SASM, which is, I don't know if I try to say this, but it's the Aggiornamento Sistemi di Arma, which is basically an updated weapon systems, basically. So, but we don't have that yet. So yeah, let's see the differences between each one of them that we have in game, and then we can talk about its performances and stuff. So first of all, we have the normal G variant in the German tech tree. So the Germany received a while ago. It's 10.0, which is a very good BR. It carries 4 AIM-9Bs, and it has the AIM-9B FGW2, which is the AIM-9F, commonly known as the AIM-9F. But in game it doesn't have a difference between the AIM-9B and the AIM-9F, but it's just the same. But you have it. You have a capability to use multiple bombs, including the Mark 83, the Mark 82, the M117, so 1,000 pounds, 750 pounds, and 500 pounds, and even the 250 kilo Matra 25E, which is a French bomb, as well as some rocket pods, the Hydras, the M247, which is a very good missile, a very good rocket, I mean, and two Nords AS-20 air-to-ground missiles, is not the air-to-air version. Okay, so as I said before, the F-104G was used as a fighter bomber, multi-role aircraft in a lot of air forces that it served. So it has some sort of capability to use it as an air-to-ground. It's very limited, but you can use it. I'm going to make a video just trying to use it as an air-to-ground weapon, as the Luftwaffe used to do. The aircraft used a J79, which is the engine of the Phantom, so it's a very strong engine. That's the main advantage that you have in this aircraft, is that you have a very strong engine in a very light and very small aircraft, which makes this a very fast one. So yeah, we have the J79, and the normal radar that we have is the Nassar radar, which have IFF. It has a BVR mode and acquire mode, as the Phantom's radar. It has a search mode of 90 degrees to 10 general, and a normal range of 18 kilometers, so a pretty good radar to have. So yeah, the J79, the engine is the J79G 11, the General Electric one. So yeah, it's a very good engine, very good, very powerful. And last but not least, the German one has the flares and chaff, and of course the RWR, which is a very good system to have. Okay, the main armament is a Vulcan M61 on the side of the aircraft, very capable, and it has 60 flares and chaff, so very capable at 10.0 VR. Very good aircraft. I love this aircraft. I got to the F4F using this, so yeah, very good. For China, we have the same aircraft, the F-104G, but it has a little bit some small differences. The first one is the BR, it's 10.7, not 10.0. It has the same engine, the J7911. It has the same main armament, the M61 Vulcan, but it has a different radar, the PS-03 radar, which is a much more modern radar than the German one. Has the PS-03 radar, which has 30 kilometers range, 120 degrees and 12 degrees of search zone, IFF, BVR mode, and acquire mode. So yeah, very powerful radar. But the main differences are on the armament. We don't have the flares and chaff, but we have the AIM-9J. That's why it's 11. It's 10.7. So the AIM-9J, very capable missile, very good. It switches from the Nord for the bullpup, which is the American ground to air to ground weapon. It still has the Hydras and still has the Mark 83s, the M117. The 117 and the Mark 82s, but it doesn't have the Matra bombs. So yeah, it has a capability of air to ground, still very limited, but it has. The main capability, of course, is the AIM-9J, but it doesn't have flares. It has the RWR, but it doesn't have flares. So yeah, a very good fighter, very good to grind out the Chinese tree. I'd say it have to have a little bit of luck to actually use this. As for Japan, it's the same aircraft again. It has the same engine. It has the same main armament, the M61 Vulcan. It has the Nassar radar, the same radar as the German one. It doesn't have flares, but it has the RWR. And remember that this is a interceptor variant, kind of. So it doesn't have any very good capable air-to-ground weapon. It just have the Hydras, which could be used as an interceptor weapon as well. And it has the M9B, the M9E, which is a little bit better than the B, and the M9P, which is comparable to the M9J. So it has a BR of 10.7 again. It's very similar to the Chinese one. It just has a worse radar and it has less air-to-ground weapons. Okay, but it's built by Mitsubishi, so very cool aircraft. And for Italy, we have two of them. The F-104G for Italy that was added in direct update, direct hit. I mean, it's the same G, the F-104G that we have in Germany, just built by Fiat, I think. So it has the same engine, the 11, the same armament, the Vulcan, and the same radar, the Nassar. The difference here is that it's a 10.3, so it's a middle ground between the Chinese and Japanese and the German, and that's because it's the most, I mean, I think this is the best G variant. It has a very low BR still, it has flares and chaff, it has the 60 flares and chaff, has RWR, it has two AIM-9Js, which is also very nice to have in this VR. Just two, not four like the other ones, but still very good. And it has a little bit better of air-to-ground capability, so you can use actually the missiles and a lot of bombs, the max capability of the bombs as well together with the missiles. So you can use, for example, a 2,000 pound Mark 84 together with two 1,000 pound Mark 83 together with the AIM-9J. So you have a lot of capabilities here. You have the Zuni rockets, and of course, as I said, the Mark 84 as well as the Mark 83 and the Mark 82, and the M117 as well as FFAR Mighty Mouse rockets. So this is the best all-around F-104G of the game. It was added at 10.0, but of course they enforced a little bit of a nerf in the BR because of it. It's a very capable aircraft. I love this aircraft. I really want to get it. I'm trying to get other stuff first. But yeah, very good aircraft. And the last one, which is kind of in the same general idea of the F-104, it's the F-104S, which is the last variant, the most advanced variant. So we have a better engine here, almost 1,000 kilograms of force more, the J79 19, which is a very capable radar. It has the Nassar radar, the same radar as the normal Gs, but it has the capabilities of using AIM-9Js, six of them, if you want to, as well as the two Sparrows, the AIM-7Es. So very cool way to fly this aircraft. I have a video on it. But if you use the AIM-7, you have to leave the Vulcan on the hangar. So yeah, have to be careful with that. So yeah, it's a very capable aircraft in general. It has a very good payload on air to ground as well. So it uses the M117 as well. Uh, the Mark 83s, the Mark 82s. You can carry 4 Mark 82s, 5 Mark 82s, sorry, together with missiles, so very capable, as well as 6 Mark 81s, which is the 250-pound equivalent of the Mark 82. So a lot of rockets as well, the Mighty Mouse and the Zunis. So very, very capable aircraft in general. It has RWR, but it doesn't have uh, the the flares and chaff, which probably make this aircraft the best starfighter in game. The only problem with it is that it doesn't have the flares, but it's so fast. This is probably the fastest aircraft in game. It's really, really fast. You can reach Mach 1.3 at very low altitude, so yeah, very capable aircraft with very, very good missiles at 10.3. So yeah, very scary one to use, a very good one. So yeah. But yeah, this is it for pros and cons. So this is all the weapons and avionics of the aircraft. For the performance of the pros and cons, we have that the pros are that the BRs are very low compared to high tier aircraft, uh, even though it's very fast. So it's a very fast, very nimble aircraft. It doesn't turn very well. It's kind of a brake turning, but if you use it correctly, you can actually use the flares to 850 kilometers per hour, which helps a little bit. So yeah, very fast. So use a kind of a boom and zoom aircraft, and just try to be fast as. Just maintain your speed. If you get slow, you will die. So yeah. The cons that it has, of course, as I said, it has a very bad turn ratio. It's kind of a heavy one. You have to watch out for dives and stuff. It has a very limited nose authority when shooting, which is it's a problem sometimes. Some of them, like the J and one of the G's and the S, doesn't have flares, so you have to be careful with that if you get to an up tier. But yeah, this is the general idea. Try to be fast. Try to just stay with the speed. Okay, the speed is safety with this aircraft. Very good aircraft. Okay. And yeah, guys, this was it. The last part is just that the tactics that you normally can use are both the tactics that I normally teach you guys. It's the low altitude with surprise attack ones, and the high altitude flight. I would use especially the S to fly very high and very fast. Try to outrun missiles with the S. The G's that have flares, you can actually do surprise attacks on subsonic aircraft because of the BR. So it's actually pretty good to do that. And the J and the G with that have AIM-9Ps and Js, you have to be a little bit lucky because if you get to a top tier, it's kind of hard. People will kill you a lot, but it's also a very good aircraft. I don't say it's supposed to be lowered on DBR. It's like the Draken actually, which doesn't have any capability like even RWR, but it's still a very capable aircraft just because of the performance. So the F-104J and G, the Chinese and Japanese trees, they are basically the same type of way. So you just have to be have a little bit of luck, but actually just play around in the middle, stay fast, and the missiles will carry you to get kills. If you have a good team, you will ended up getting a lot of kills. So yeah, this was it, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Any suggestions, leave it in the comments. Click the like button and subscribe, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye.